Hey, what is up there, guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of The Evolve. How you guys doing on today? You know what? I'm doing all right. So today we need to get right into it because this is going to be quite an interesting one and probably a long one. Today we are going into part 5 of our series of D12 and Eminem versus Royce the 5'9". Now, this was, as we had stated in past parts. If you haven't looked at parts 1 through 4, you definitely want to do that now. The links are in the description, but this is part 5. This is part 5 of a series, and we're talking about a Eminem beef that had real life consequences, and that is why this beef was Eminem's most, I can say, intense and almost deadly beef until date. You think of MGK, you think of his beef with Ja Rule or even Bazino. Those beef, nothing happened really in real life that much. They talked a lot of stuff and they were just diss tracks and raps. But when it came to physical violence and people going to jail and people getting stomped on curves, that stuff only happened in this particular beef. And we covered all of that on parts 1 through 4. So you definitely want to catch up. Because right now we are at the part, in our last part, Royce the 5'9", he had just put out a diss track on D12 called Malcom X. Now, he put out this diss track because, well, they stomped his homeboy. Royce had told D12 and Eminem to meet him at the club, and he got on the radio station. They met him there. Eminem was there, and Royce didn't show up, but Royce's boy showed up, and D12 ended up jumping him and taking his shoes, and they end up bragging about it as well. So then in part 4, which was our last part, Royce put out a crazy diss track, and he went in on every member of D12, including Eminem. He had words for Eminem. Now, Malcom X, regardless of how I feel about Royce the 5'9" personally and kind of this new mission that he is on, I can't deny it. I can't deny talent. And Malcom X is probably one of the top 5 greatest diss tracks of all time, to be honest. It would definitely be in top 10, and I would probably put it in top 5 because of the time, because of the bars, because of the real life consequence, and because of just the delivery and cadence and the recklessness, abandonment on every member of that crew. Like, he did it really well. So now we're at the point where did D12 respond? Well, D12, so much they didn't put out so much of a response. There were a lot of street talk. They talked about the diss track. They talked about the Malcom X. They said it was corny, and the one that took it the most was Bizarre. I gotta tell you, here in 2020, this beef happened long ago, but here in 2020, even now, Bizarre, he don't mess with Royce like that. They don't mess, there's still that thing. I don't know, maybe it was the cheeseburger jokes, or maybe it was, but you gotta listen to part 4 because he went in on both Royce the 5'9" and Malcom X. There were 2 people that he really went in on. He went in on Bizarre, and he went in on Proof. Now, the reason why he went in on Bizarre so much, because Bizarre, out of every member of D12 back then, Bizarre, he talked the most stuff. He was always ready to fight. He was the instigator. He was the one that was in the interviews, in the documentary. He was the one that always ignited stuff. And, yo, let's go get this guy. What? Y'all hear what Royce just said? So Bizarre, he was always that big boy that talked so much stuff. And that's why Royce went in on him so much and had so much fat jokes in Malcom X. Now, the reason that he went at Proof so much in part 4 was, I guess, mainly because it was personal. And sometimes, people who you are close to and people that you love are the ones that can hurt you the most. You don't care about your enemies or the people that you dislike because you already know where they stand. You know, I don't care about my haters. I don't care about the people and the trolls and the regular people that put in, you know, the crazy comments, rather about me or my content or whatnot. I don't care about that. No, seriously, because my thing is that I expect that from them. But if fans and people that I know that are doing, that have been with me for a very long time, if they start hating and start talking, then I take note of that because, you know, I know that they are coming in a place, their comments and their stuff is coming from a place of concern or whatnot. But anyway, that aside, this just leads me to why Royce the 5'9" went on Proof, because even before Eminem and D12, you know, Proof and Royce, they had a relationship. Their kids, their families, they had a relationship together. And Proof, you know, Royce did say he had his own side of the story, but Royce, he did mention that, hey, you know, me and Proof, we didn't want this beef. But, you know, anyway, like I said, they had their own little thing. Maybe I'll play a clip right now and have Royce talk a little bit about Proof. Boom.
Story about P, nobody's heard. Did you ever hear the story about him pushing the girl off the stage when we was performing together overseas?
I have never heard it.
No, I'm sorry. He didn't push her off the stage. He tackled her. It was like me and him was performing. We was switching up the headliner. I think this show, I was supposed to this show he was supposed to headline, but I was late. So he went ahead and went before me just to keep the show going. So when me and Vicious showed up, he was on stage and he was just getting off the stage or whatever. I seen him, what up, nigga? Shake hands. All right, we're gonna holler as soon as I get off. I got on stage, man. I'm performing, and Vicious is hype man, and this girl gets up on stage, and she trying to dance on Vicious, and all I hear Proof says, no! He runs on the stage, full speed, and tackles the girl to the floor on the stage. And I thought, why, right? So I'm like, P, what the fuck? And he said that she was in the front when he was performing, and she took out some, like, I don't know, girls wear like some fake titties or something, or like some type of padding or something, whatever the case. She took it out. She was like flat-chested or whatever. So I guess they was joking on her the whole show. So he ain't want Vicious to be dancing with her, and then she was just a joke. You know what I'm saying? So this nigga ran full speed and tackled her hard. I'm talking about she had to hurt herself. That was some funny shit. And then when they got up, security put her off the stage, so it looked even worse. That's a Proof story for you. He did a lot of shit because that was a tour that we did overseas. He did a lot of shit that tour that was super funny. He did something else to one of his people that I'm not going to tell you, but I'll tell you about off camera.
All right, so D12, they were just out in the streets. They didn't officially like put out something like worth even talking about in this part. But what I do want to talk about, Proof, he did respond. His was worth talking. Proof, he linked up with a group called the Purple Gang. The Purple Gang and Proof, they put out a diss track in response to Malcom X. And that's what we're gonna listen today, because that leads us next to our story. So D12 kind of just backed Proof up on it. They did say, hey, yo, y'all handled him for us. So this is what took place next, was the Proof, the Purple Gang response. And let's just go ahead and listen to it. It is called The Beef Is Over, featuring the Purple Gang. Let's go ahead and play. Okay, we're gonna stop right there so I can catch you guys up. As you can say, you know, Proof is just giving an intro to this diss track. He's talking to Royce. He's like, hey, yo, Royce, I heard, because Royce in the diss track, like I said, he went in on him. He did say that it's like his teeth look like a monster truck or something, because and that's what Royce was addressing. He's like, yeah, my teeth is like that, and yeah, I do roll deep, because he said that because Royce and Malcom X, he has stated, yo, Proof, if I ever see you alone, you know, I'm gonna destroy you. I'm gonna handle you. I'm gonna knock you the out. And this is what Royce was saying in the diss track, and he had claimed that Proof, you just soft because you soft. That's why you hang around like 30 people deep all the time. But if I catch you alone, I'm gonna queue up Proof. Couldn't get it out. I'm gonna queue up Proof. So that's what he's saying. But let's go on.
That's why you the next Malcom X. Trey Little gon' get dropped like Cha-Cha's old label. And we only see your videos on Comcast cable. Local fuckers, wishing you was born in Queens. Donnell Jones looking nigga born to sing. What is y'all the crew of has-been thugs? Wait, you can't be a has-been when your ass never was.
Okay, let's just stop right there. So right now, a part of this Purple Gang, Killer Khan, he is basically in this first part, he's really just talking about, you know, if I see you, you know, we're gonna end you, Royce. There's been this big thing that, and you'll hear a lot in this diss track that, Royce, you're not really from Detroit, and you're not even in the streets. Because Royce, he wasn't really in the streets. You never caught him in 8 Mile or 7 Mile or wherever. They didn't catch him in the street. Mainly because, now, a big part of this, especially during this time, and Killer Khan, he's right in that sense, because Proof, he wasn't out there. He couldn't be out there because Proof, he had so much pull. I mean, with regards to the underground and the rappers and everyone in the underground and just Detroit in general, you know, Proof, he had a lot more pull, you know, a lot more pull than Royce ever did or was, and even till this day, you know, than Royce. So Royce couldn't just walk around. So he went out there. So, you know, I can see that. But let's let him finish. Okay, so now Proof is about to get into the hook, but before Killer Khan, he just ends it off with a litany of hey, we're gonna shoot you, hey, I'm a good rapper, and you know, it wasn't a Malcom X, I will say that. The kid, he flowed and it sounded good, and he was with the beat and it sounded good, but it was more of, hey, I see you, I'm gonna shoot you. You're not real in these thugs, and hey, I can rap. You know who I am. Now, so Proof, he comes in next with the hook. Okay, so the hook is just it's just Proof saying, hey, yo, is Royce from Detroit? Hell no. Is he from the D? Hell no. Dude, Royce run Detroit? Hell no. So it's just one of those, he just asking rhetorical questions, and the backside is just, hell no, no, he's not from Detroit, he's not from 8 Mile, he's not from here, he's not hard. And but now we're gonna go into the next person of the Purple Gang, which is Flame, and he goes in and tries to flame Royce on the next part here. King of what city? Stop lying. He said the niggas brought your bootleg, Royce, and they wanted a refund for that $5 bootleg. They're trying to say it was trash. All right, go ahead. Email thug. Twitter fingers. Okay, so that was Flame, and then we'll go back into Proof Hook. Flame was just talking about, he is talking about shooting him. And a big part of his was Royce ain't really from the streets. He ain't from the Detroit. He ain't from here. We don't see him. So that was a big part of, I guess, his. Like I said, this particular response, I got to say, I like Proof, but this response, this track, it did not stand up against Malcom X. But we're going to go on. I do like Proof's hook here. Like he said, all right, let's just go ahead and play. Okay, so once again, they're still talking about shooting Royce when they see him. He said this one, his name is Famous, and he stated, "Hey, I'm gonna shoot more holes in Royce than a Jason Mask, or like a Jason," because y'all know that Jason Mask's got a lot of holes and whatnot. All right. I love the flow though. I wish I got this instrument. So. So watch your mouth, cause if we drive by once and miss you, we gon' double back. Your dumb ass more times than a sheet of bubble wrap. Do they got street credit? Okay, and so now Proof does not actually rap in this response to Malcom X. He just does the hook, but that was the last one. And once again, he's just talking about a lot of shooting. He's talking about shooting Royce when he sees him and how big his gun is and what he has. Like I said, they didn't really go into, and I told you all in part 4 what makes a really good diss track. It has real life consequences, and it's designed and it's written really well, and it's delivered. And the content just wasn't there. You know, they had so much stuff on Royce, I would think, but they just chose in this response to not really address anything that he had said and mentioned in the Malcom X, but really just, it was a flex. It was a flex. It was kind of like what, I'm going to be honest, what Proof did here, he kind of did what Nick Cannon did. You know, Eminem dissed me, so I'm going to get a posse. And they're going to come at you, and then they're going to flex. And what was the Black Squad did? They kind of just flexed their skills. They made through some stuff, but nothing directly talking about, you know, Eminem or talking about Royce. You know, Black Squad didn't really talk about him. They had a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff out there. Most of the stuff Eminem have already spoken about himself, but and what Proof did here, if I'm being honest, if I'm going to be fair, this crew, the Purple Gang. And let me just tell you guys something about the Purple Gang, the real Purple Gang of Detroit. I'm talking from 1920, I'll say 1925 to about 1935 when they kind of destroyed themselves. But for about 10 years, the Purple Gang, you know, they were a real life gang. They were a real life gang. They were mainly Jews. And they ran Detroit for about 10 years. I mean, and it was around about the time when they had banned alcohol in the United States. So what the Purple Gang, how they rose to power is that they had all these underground, you know, people that were funneling from alcohol from the sugar crane and whatnot, but they was funneling alcohol over this ice and water, this body of water. The Purple Gang, you know, they were young teens too. What they would do is they would just kill these crooks, basically kill them and steal their supply and their drugs and their alcohol, and then resell it themselves. So they would wait until they smuggle it over this ice, and then that was what they would do. And the police in Detroit, you know, they kind of just let them. They didn't say anything because, one, they were killing crooks, and two, because they were so, well, ruthless. No one really wanted to mess with them. So they had they had their time. And then other gangs that were in Detroit during that time, you know, they start joining the Purple Gang because, you know, they were ruling so much, and it was better to be with them than against them. So it was a lot going on, the real Purple Gang. So I think this is why this group probably took their name from the Purple Gang. But I think that's what a lot of people do. You know, some of the real life gangsters and gangs and people way back then that really lived that life, people kind of just take the name, you know, as kind of like a threat, and they really don't know just the life that they were about. That's probably a whole series in itself. If you guys really wanted me to hit on the Purple Gang, I kind of gave you a very rough summary of kind of who they are, but it was intense. But even like people like Machine Gun Kelly, you know, he took his name from, but hey, I'm not getting on that. But this was their response to Malcom X, and I think that this is going to kind of conclude right here, because in our next part 6, Proof and Royce, they meet up. They meet up with each other after this. After a while, they meet up with each other, and both of them come with guns. Guns were pulled out, and cops were called. People were arrested, and it goes down in part 6. So, if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. I will see you guys in the very next video. I'd like to know what you all think about this diss track, about this diss track and their response to this. This was part 5. Go check out part 4. If you enjoyed the series, go ahead and hit it with a like. If you have more input, I'll be reading your comments and all that other good stuff. This has been a fun series, and I think we have I know we had part 6. And then we had part 7, I think it would end, and then part 8 we would talk about today in time. We'll get back in track in 2020. But yeah, what a series. I will see you guys in the very next video. As always, KIP, keep it positive. Peace.